Okay, let's find out what stocks you're not waiting for an entry point and that you like, your highest conviction ideas. ProPicks is brought to you by ATB Financial. With $62 billion in assets, ATB Financial is powering possibilities for more than 820,000 financial services clients in Alberta and beyond. ATB's capital markets arm is a full-service investment dealer that offers investment and corporate banking, sales and trading, institutional research, and risk management. Visit atb.com/inthemoney for more information.
Yeah, so one of those is Capital Power. This has been one of my picks, I feel like 2 years ago. I think in the power optimizing of power generation facilities, still one of Canada's major power producers. They're shifting their fleet towards cleaner, more modern generation, while still providing dependable cash flow, which is important to us. I see long-term contracts for the company that has helped stabilize their earnings. And the company continues to really invest in the natural gas space, the renewables, and repowering those projects that extend their asset life and improve their efficiency. So the earlier pullback we did see in Capital Power, does present a great buying opportunity. And I think it was really reflected and those concerns were because Alberta's power market and financing costs. So it wasn't anything, huge extremes. And I think Capital Power has been strengthening its balance sheet and moving key growth projects forward. So positive for us. I think analysts are seeing solid value here, noting the resilient cash flow and strategy that aligns well with the whole grid's transition towards cleaner energy.
So you would buy the dips here. I think part of the, when you see a stock move lower like that, some of it was on Alberta pricing concerns. Their results were also not super stellar, but that wasn't enough to shake your confidence.
Yeah, I would say this is more of a value, maybe you can say contrarian play. But I would say with this pullback, this is looking like a favorable entry point for long-term investors. So it's not always that you get these types of pullbacks in these stocks. And for us, with that, I think it is presenting a good buying opportunity for investors.
So another stock, I think we do have a theme. You said there was no theme in your stock picks, but I think I found the theme, which is darlings that have drifted lower.
There you go.
TMX,
I like that.
TMX is another example. What a relentless outperformer TMX has been. And then it's just kind of melted lower over the last 2 months. What do you see as kind of the key driver is that? And why are you stepping in? And when I say melted lower, like it's down 10% from its all-time high, but
Yeah, I think, you're right. I think darlings that have had pullbacks, slight pullbacks, finding opportunities, especially in a market that, as we talked about at the beginning of this, been resilient, you need to find these pockets. You need to be active and you need to be selective. And I think TMX Group is a great example of that in the financial space. Really the backbone of Canada's public markets, running the Toronto Stock Exchange and benefiting from long-term capital rising activity as the economy grows. So we have really seen TMX Group business model evolve over the years. Data and analytics now make up 42% of their revenue and are growing double digits. While derivatives trading has also accelerated. So I think, as we talked about, that recent pullback was tied to fewer new listings going public, but I don't always think that's a bad thing. I know quite a few companies who are holding off, waiting for their timing to go public on whether it's Canada or the US. I think they are being strategic there. So I think the strength in the data and the derivatives keep their earnings steady, which is still positive for the stock. Again, why we're comfortable holding this and as a top pick. So analysts are beginning to recognize that resilience in TMX, and we're seeing some upgrades and views that TMX valuation could move closer to peers as this story continues.
It seems like part of the concern has to do with what's going on and evolving, like in crypto, but not really crypto, just like stable coins and blockchain and TMX basically experimenting with what that means, right? If you can tokenize the value of your asset versus, like, to your point, issuing a share, going public, like is TMX going to be part of that, or is TMX going to be disrupted by that? Maybe that's kind of like an overhang or an issue here.
Yeah. And I certainly agree. And I think a lot of people underestimate, TMX from that standpoint and where they are making investments. But also, I don't 100% believe that Canada needs IPOs to, reverse this. I think they still have that momentum.
And so much of their business is like, it's not actually the exchange, right? There's like it's diversified into so many other areas, and it's a data company. And again, you could throw in like AI.
Yep.
Is AI then disruptive
Mm-hmm.
to TMX?
Yeah.
Because you can get sort of the same information, and maybe I just type it into ChatGPT or whatever.
Yeah.
Or is TMX going to be, scraping its own data for value?
And honestly, I think data is going to be where a lot of value is going to be coming from in the next 12 to 24 months, is going to be on these companies that have done their job in collecting data. Data is going to become so valuable, and what they do with that data is going to be really how we're going to see companies develop.
Okay, let's bring in your third pick, which is Meta, the owner of Facebook and WhatsApp, growing, spending. And the market just got a little freaked out by that recently.
Yeah. And I think we actually used this recent pullback to add to our position in Meta. We still have been a holder, but I still think there's more upside from here. Meta ranks fundamentally a 9 out of 10 for us, and yes, has done a good job. I think analysts are seeing either outperform or buy few holds, but about 25% upside from here, looking at a price target of about $8.39. So, 25% when you're seeing some of those big tech names is quite a big move. So for investors who want a little bit more of that super large cap still participating, I think Meta does continue to deliver strong momentum in their core advertising business. And that's the better AI recommendations, deep engagement across their global platforms. Reels has become really the major growth engine of everything, social media. And I think Meta can successfully monetize new formats as users' behaviors continue to evolve.
Brianne, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your ideas with us.